Okay, so now it's time to introduce the ski. So this is the tip of the ski, it's the front of the ski. Okay, if you work our way down, we can then see the front of the binding. Okay, here, followed by the back of the binding and the tail of the ski. If I turn the ski around, you have a plastic base on the back of the ski. Okay, hopefully with some wax on this base, the ski glides very nicely on the snow. Now if you look on the side, we have an edge which runs from the top all the way down on both sides of the base of the ski. Okay, this is a metal edge and you're going to find out exactly why it's useful later on in the series. If you're choosing a ski for the first time, try and pick a size which is 20 or 30 centimeters below the top of your head. This will make it much easier to turn and you're going to have a much more pleasant experience. If you try and pick a ski which is for advanced skiers, it's too long and it's too stiff, it's just going to be very difficult to turn. So make sure you pick one which is 20 or 30 centimeters below the top of your head. Okay, now it's time to put the skis on. So to start, we need to find a nice flat area and we need to lay the skis down together, parallel next to each other. So the way the boot is designed is it has a little toe piece and a heel piece. And these have to connect under the front of the binding here and into the back of the binding like that. But before we do that, we need to remove the snow from under the ski boot. We do that by using the ski pole and tapping, or we can tap against our other boot, or we can also use the binding, the front of the binding, and do like this to scrape off the snow. So, place the tip of the boot under the front of the binding, gently press the heel piece into the back of the binding, and then when it's all lined up, nice and snug, you push down on the back of the boot. Okay, we found a nice flat area, we've put our skis on, and now it's time just to get used to being connected to the ski. We can take off one ski, and we can scoot around, or we can try sliding around on a flat area with both skis connected. Okay, so we're now familiar with the feeling of having the skis connected to us. Now it's the time to actually try some basic sliding. So we need to be able to walk up the mountain a little bit and then slide back down. Okay, remember when trying to sidestep up the mountain, it's important to use your edges. If you just try and rush things and walk straight up the mountain with a flat ski, the skis are just going to skid. You end up doing like a Michael Jackson moonwalk and you're not really going to progress very far up the hill. Okay, so once we've reached the top of the slope with our sidestepping, we then need to position ourselves correctly to be able to slide back down the hill. To do this, make sure you use your poles and make some small little steps around. You can support yourself with your poles. When your skis are ready and you're pointing them down the hill, just let go, stand naturally over the ski and enjoy the ride. Okay, a couple of useful tips for when you're sliding down the hill for the first time. Remember to look where you're going, that's really important. Try and keep your skis parallel. Then when you stand on your ski, try not to lean too far forwards or too far back, just try and stand in a natural balanced position. And then where you pick the terrain is really important where you practice this. So make sure the terrain naturally brings you to a stop. And one last thing, it's important to smile when you're doing a sport or an activity which is enjoyable.